Hey, what up, Jeremy Duncan? Hey, what up, everybody in YTBC? It's gonna be I'm just gonna shoot the shit a little bit on this live. I just I saw a short that made me giggle. It tickled my fancy, and we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about Canelo versus Charlo. Let me go ahead and just start with Canelo versus Charlo. First off, it's funny that Jeremy Duncan is here because for some reason I remind him of Canelo. Specifically of when Canelo is telling I think it was Demetrius Andrade when he is telling him get the fuck out of here, man. But so it's funny that Jeremy Duncan is like here before the live even started. So big shout out to Jeremy Duncan for making me laugh. Big shout out to all the people I'm cool with, you know. Big shout out to LT. Um, the reason why I say big shout out to LT specifically is, to be honest, I don't remember a time really giving him a reason for him to respect me. And he has showed me respect from the very first time I met him. So big shout out to him. That's not something that you always see in the YTBC. So yeah, just wanted to say that. Big shout out to everybody who I'm cool with. What up, Lisa Bales? Drop the accent hard and you would be spot on. And I wasn't the first. Someone else was here, popped the like and left. Oh, okay. You were the first to chat. What up, Mr. T? Yes, I just want to talk about a couple of different things. Like, I'm kind of shocked at how many people are saying this is a 50-50 fight between Charlo and Canelo. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't see it that way. I just don't. And to be honest, I don't have a dog in the race. Like, I know a lot of people are tribal, like they just go with, whoever is the same ethnicity as them, but I'm not that guy. I have in fact I have a video from years ago titled Canelo is a redheaded bitch. So I'm not a Canelo fan. What up, Tony Boswell, much respect. But just because I'm not a fan of a fighter don't mean that I won't that when they fight I'm gonna pick against them just because I don't care for them, you know. Now I will say this: I'm not quite as hardcore anti Canelo as I was when I made that video saying that Canelo is a redheaded bitch. Um, I mean, when he became undisputed, I can't be a boxing fan that's always pushing for undisputed, and then when a guy I don't like goes undisputed, then I'm just gonna act like he ain't done shit. I'm just not gonna do that. I'm not gonna let my dislike for a fighter cloud my judgment and allow me to act anything less than genuine and unbiased as far as much as I can be. So, but yeah, I don't see this as a 50-50 fight. I see this as what should be a somewhat easy win for Canelo. That's how I see this. You got somebody who's never fought at 168 pounds. I mean, he's good. Talking about Charlo, because he's undisputed in his own right. And yes, he is still undisputed. I understand that he's going to be stripped by the WBO as soon as he steps in the ring. But as of right now, he has not stepped in that ring with Canelo. So he is still undisputed right now. They're still billing this fight as just undisputed versus undisputed. And that is what it is. I mean, while the fight's going on, it won't be. But as of right now, that's what this is: undisputed versus undisputed. Um, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't mind if the WBO would just leave him as undisputed, like not strip him. Um, but I mean, these sanctioning bodies, like they do all kind, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, especially WBC. Like the WBC, the bullshit that they will pull knows no bounds. All right. Um, so it is what it is, but I see Canelo beating him quite easily. I do. Um, Canelo is acclimated at the weight. Canelo has just done more than Charlo. Yeah, Charlo is undisputed, but Canelo did it first. Well, he did it before Charlo. He's not the first to become undisputed. Well, actually, at 168, he is the first. So that actually holds weight. But anyways, yeah, I just don't see what people see. I don't know. Maybe I'll be proven wrong come fight night, which is in about a month and a half at this point. If I'm not mistaken, the fight happens on September 30th. I'm kind of interested to see what'll happen, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't see what everybody's talking about as far as this being a 50-50 fight. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Best fight will be Mark Zuckerberg versus Elon Musk. I did hear about that. I don't know if I heard about that from you, Jeremy Duncan, but I definitely heard about that. I see that round one Fuckerberg goes down saying some shit like I wasn't ready. I was waiting for a bell. Yeah, I would actually watch that not as a legit boxing match. I would watch that purely out of entertainment. But anyways, let me go ahead and get to the other topic. So I saw a short, and hopefully I'll remember because I want to put the link in the description or in the comments to this short that I saw of Israel Adesanya talking shit about Tank. It was funny. Now let me just say this, all right. I don't always like when these non-boxers try to talk shit. Some of them just don't know what the hell they're talking about. I'll give you an example. Paul Pierce, he was there talking about he's basically trying to take credit for Spence losing, talking about, you know, you can't be the truth unless I bless you with that. You got to come to me first and get that blessing. Like basically saying, because his nickname is the truth. In order for you to call yourself that, you gotta come and see him first, or this is what happens to you. No, whether he came to you for your blessing before the fight or not, Crawford was the better boxer. That's just what it was. He was that ass whooping was coming regardless. Um, so Paul Pierce saying that shit that rubbed me and a lot of other people the wrong way. Um, but this shit with Israel Adesanya is just hilarious. So basically, he was watching the Spence versus Crawford fight, and he was mentioning that Tank Davis said something along the lines of, "I know Spence is gonna win because he has a better shield." I'm paraphrasing, so I'm not quoting, not word for word. What up, Charles D? Really, you going with the rubbing you the wrong way? Yeah. Oh, Pierce been a hater? See, I don't really know much about Pierce. I just know I saw him his little live that he did talking that shit. And I'm not a Spence fan, but come on, man. Like you had nothing to do with him getting his ass whooped. Let's just keep it real. Let's see you get in the ring with Bud Crawford. I'm sure he'd whoop your ass too. But let's go ahead and get back to what I was talking about. So he was he was watching the fight. I was talking about that Tank said something about Spence will win because he has the better shield. Something about iron versus glass, and he was like, I was gonna say something, but then I realized most people don't know shit about boxing. I was just like, sometimes it's hit or miss. In my opinion, Israel was on to something. Especially Tank talking about he would knock Crawford out in 6 rounds. Please, you be lucky to even land any punches on Crawford. Um, Crawford is not only blessed with skill, but he's blessed with an unusually long reach for his height, and you got T-Rex arms. So all he got to do is keep you at distance. And he gonna whoop that ass. I pick him to stop Tank. But hey, what up, Brown Gone One? I don't even try to go on what y'all say about it. Yeah, what's wrong with these Pence fans? You talking about somebody else? That whole Izzy episode was funny. His reactions be spot on. So hold on. So Charles D is does he have like a show, or is there a show that was taken from? I'm pretty sure you saw it because I shared it in the UGC chat. Um, and like I said, I'm gonna share with y'all too. I just got to remember to post the link either in the comments or in the description. But yeah, like I thought the shit was funny. Jedi song. Yeah, Charles, is it a like it's a show? Because I would like to see the whole thing. Like I've heard a lot of people talk shit about Israel Adesanya. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know a whole lot about him other than that he's an MMA fighter, and I think I heard he retired or he's going to retire soon. Um, and I know he's like one of the big names in MMA. I know that. But other than that, I don't really know a whole lot about him. Yeah, he has a show. I'm gonna have to look that up. Yeah, Izzy watches the big fights and comments live during. Whoa! All right. So, especially being that he cracked me up, and it's not just what he said; it's how he said it. Like I would definitely be willing to watch podcasts with Israel talking about boxing for sure. I mean, I would watch the MMA stuff too. It's just not gonna be. I'm gonna lose a lot of context just because I don't know shit about MMA. But in the boxing, oh, I think that would be very entertaining. Like he definitely seems to know what he's talking about. I don't know if he implements boxing in his MMA in his style, but yeah, he had me cracking up. He watches both. I mean, that makes sense. It definitely makes sense that he watches MMA matches. Um, me, I don't. I'm not like one of these people who is like, "Oh, boxing's better than MMA. MMA is shit. MMA can suck a dick." I don't. I'm not like that. The way I see it is, do I watch MMA? No, I don't. But I don't like when I'm into something, whether it be boxing or something else, um, and people just talk shit about it for no good reason. I can give you an example, like video games. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really play a whole lot of video games right now, but I'll pick up a video game from time to time. I don't like when people are like, "Oh, video games are childish. If you're over the age of 12, you shouldn't be playing video games and all this stuff." But they'll sit their ass on the couch and watch movies for hours and upon hours upon hours upon hours, like that's any better. My thing is this: I have fun my way, you have fun your way, you know, and that goes into combat sports. I enjoy boxing. I'll catch an MMA fight here and there, but it's not really my thing. And especially now, my girlfriend, she don't watch boxing, but she watches MMA. So we've both agreed to watch combat sports together. Um, so I'm not gonna talk shit about MMA, and I've really never been big on that even before I met my girlfriend. Um, so yeah, I mean, I would definitely be willing to watch him talk about boxing and everything. Hey, what up? Get this smoke. Is he has decent hands? He watch. Okay, I prefer if I watch any sports would be UFC because throwing hands is mid. What the fuck is wrong with gamers and gaming? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with. I mean, what if you're into whatever? As long as you ain't hurting nobody, that like I don't see why people got to be nasty to other people just because they're into different things. Like if you're into football, all right, don't go and shit on the gamer because guess what? If all the gamers got into football, that's less seats for you to, if you're buying tickets, to your favorite football team, that's less seats that are available. It makes it harder for you to get seats and it causes demand to go up, which causes the prices to go up. So be glad that there's gamers out there who are not interested in football because in a way they're helping you out by not being into football. It's not like football is struggling and gaming is doing so much better and your sport is dying. No, they're both thriving. You know, gaming and football are both thriving. Don't shit on people just because they like different things. It just don't make no sense to me. That's why I hate Joe Rogan for that slander about gamers are. Oh, yeah, I mean, it's whatever. UFC isn't just submissions, it's hands, feet as well. Yeah, I mean, I know that, but what turns me off about MMA is when they go to the ground and they stay to the ground. That's what I. That's where it kills the excitement for me. That's why I like boxing because that doesn't happen. It's all striking. And I'm not saying that one is even better than the other. I'm just saying that's what I like. If you're into all that grappling and stuff, that's perfectly fine. We don't gotta be like, talking shit to each other just because we watch different sports. And then there's plenty of people who watch both. So I mean, there's one MMA. Well, there's a couple MMA channels that I'm subscribed to, and I just go over to those channels and show support from time to time. And they're cool. They're cool people. They're cool with me. Whenever they see me, they always show respect. Um, when my girlfriend passed away, they were pretty supportive. I'm not gonna shit on the sport that they watch. To me, it's childish. Yeah, when Ken Shamrock and them came out in the '90s, it was crazy. Oh yeah. I mean, I was very much into wrestling. So I remember when Ken Shamrock came out, and when he came out, I was on the fence on whether or not wrestling was real. And I didn't even know who Ken Shamrock was at the time. When I learned who he was, I was like, oh, well, wrestling has to be real. I was in elementary school, so I was just using my elementary brain and try to trick myself into believing that wrestling was real. Um, and now, like after all the documentaries and stuff that I've seen, I know the outcomes are predetermined for the most part, but them bumps they take are real. They are. You can't. Not just anybody can get into a wrestling ring and do what these guys do. Don't get it twisted. Hey, what up, Boxing Kangaroo? Hope you're doing well. I liked it when there was no time limit. It's the new rules. Just taking a look here. Also, Smoke is talking about old school UFC. Yeah, I remember Chuck Liddell. You know, like these are people who like really transcended what they did. People who never watched a UFC match knew who Chuck Liddell was. Um, and Ken Shamrock too, but that had to do with him having a wrestling career too. You know, like that was like the heyday. That was during the Monday Night Wars. That was, that's when wrestling really pushed the envelope. I was actually there's a show. It's called The Dark Side of the Ring. And there's an episode they did about I think it's called the Brawl for All, and this is when they had quote unquote boxing matches. And I have to say quote unquote because the rules were all messed up. They were not legit boxing rules, but these guys were legitimately fighting. They weren't pulling their punches. It wasn't fake. These guys were really beating the shit out of each other. And Vince Russo, who was like writing, he was the one who was like writing all the storylines and stuff at that time. He said that what inspired a lot of what he did during the Attitude Era was Jerry Springer. Him and whoever else was helping him write the scripts, they were watching Jerry Springer as they wrote their scripts. That's why in the Attitude Era, it was the way it was. If you notice, a lot of it was like watching a Jerry Springer episode. That's why it got as raunchy as it did. That's why um, they pushed the envelope as much as they did. You go watch the WWE now, it ain't nothing like that. It's like very family friendly. It's become very different. It's funny because when I was a kid, I used to think that they would never stop pushing the envelope. I thought it was just going to keep getting more and more extreme. I was actually thinking that eventually wrestling was going to become real. That's what I predicted back in the 90s. Um, Obviously, that's not what happened. Now it's become a family friendly product. I think they rate it PG. At least WWE. I can't speak for AEW. I don't really know a whole lot about AEW, but I don't think they're like that. What did you say? It's family friendly, really? Like it's supposed to be family friendly is not the right term. I just can't think of what the correct term is. But there's a certain word they have for what it is now, and it's not what it used to be in the 90s. It's like it's more of a family friendly thing now than it was in the 90s for sure. And that has to do with the sponsors. You know, in the 90s, I remember I used to see um, ads for all kinds of adult type content, not like adult like adult stuff. All right. I remember watching wrestling and seeing like ads for motor oil and ads for like rated R movies and stuff that was more geared toward adults. Um, Now they want more advertisers like for like the Mario movie. They want to attract advertisers of like just more. The only word I could think of is family friendly type of advertisers. There's a reason why you don't see blood in wrestling anymore. I don't even know how this turned into a wrestling live, but yeah. AEW used to be nuts. Dudes getting hit with bats wrapped with barbed wire. The adult stuff you mean mature. Yeah, mature. I may not be using the right words. I'm just shooting the shit. But you see what I'm saying? Like it's the type of advertisers they're trying to get now is not the type of advertisers they were trying to get back in the 90s. But yes, more mature products and services were being advertised. Um, like shows that were I remember I used to watch a lot of WCW. They used to advertise a show called Son of the Beach, which we know that's like a play on words, son of a bitch. You're not gonna see that with WWE today, you know. And WWE does own WCW. WCW is no longer really around, but they own all the IP for the most part, as far as I understand. But yeah, it's it's just they were going for it was a different product back in the 90s than it is now. Now it's more PG, what do they call it, TV 14 or something like that. That's what it is now. Whereas before it would have been rated M, even though I think for the most part they didn't have a rating system during the Monday Night Wars. AEW, ECW, them dudes fought in the auditorium. Yeah. Let me see. I think I'm gonna end it because really this was supposed to be about Charlo and Canelo, which I talked about, and this whole thing with Israel Adesanya just roasting Tank, saying he don't know shit about boxing. But y'all take it easy. Y'all be blessed. Peace.